Hello everyone, welcome back to Gent Watches, or welcome for the first time to Gent Watches, because we're starting a new series today. Well, new to me, not new to the world, actually quite an old series to the world. This is Death Note. Do you know how you have, like, blind spots? Everyone has, like, media blind spots. This isn't necessarily a blind spot for me. I feel like I know enough about Death Note that, like, I maybe would be able to fake it when talking to people. But I've never actually properly sat down and watched Death Note. My experience with Death Note is when I was a kid, I think I watched bits of Death Note. No idea what was going on then, I don't think. I remember nothing from it. I'll tell you what I know about Death Note now. I know the concept. I know that he writes a name in the Death Note and they die. I know that there's Light and L. I know what Ryuk, the demon-y guy. I don't actually know what his deal is. I just know who he is. I know that the live-action movies brought out on it. One of them had Willem Dafoe in it, and they weren't very good. I know that it's like detective-y, kind of like mind game type thing. And I know that I've seen the potato chip scene. And I think, and this is a shame, this one right here, I think it's possible I know literally the very, very, very last thing that happens. Possibly. But I'm not going to say it for 1,000 reasons. But I think it's possible I know that. And all of this is just from media exposure to this show. It was such an explosive and popular show that of course I'm going to hear a million things about it. But I always have purposefully stayed away from as much information as I could about any piece of media that I watch, or that I'm planning to watch. And I've always planned to watch Death Note. I've watched a pretty solid amount of anime at this point. The reason I've never gotten around to Death Note is because I feel like it's a guaranteed hit with me. Like, I'm definitely going to like it. And so since I'm pretty sure that I'm going to like it, I've been saving it for a time where I think it was, that it's a good time to watch it. Like when I'm like, oh, I really want a show that I know I'm going to like. I am happy to announce today that I'm doing it on this channel because that means that I get to experience it for the first time on this channel. I was saving it before I knew I was going to do reaction videos. Now that I'm doing reaction videos, this is a perfect time to do it. So I'm actually kind of glad that I saved it for this entire time, because now I get to post my reactions to it on this channel and have it eternally plastered onto the annals of history. So very few housekeeping things. I don't know how often I'm going to be posting these videos, but generally I try to have 1 or 2 series going on throughout the week. So maybe I'll do this on its own, maybe I'll alternate it with other shows. Honestly, best way to get the videos is to subscribe. If you like the series, please make sure to give it some love in the likes and the comments, with subscriptions. Those sorts of things help me to know when a series has more interest than others. If a series has absolutely no interest, then obviously, like, maybe I won't continue it on the channel, or maybe I will. It's up to me. But if it has a lot of interest, well, I mean, I kind of gotta continue it then, right? I gotta be a man of the people. Unless there was some reason that I couldn't or wouldn't want to continue on, then I would give the people what they want. So, if you enjoy it, best thing to do is to tell me you enjoy it, to like the video, to subscribe to the channel. Those sorts of things show me and show YouTube that you appreciate the videos. Third thing, I'll get this over with quick. I'm going to be watching the English dub of the show. 1,000 reasons. You can check out other videos where I talk about this sort of thing. Maybe one day I'll have to do a big video. I watch a lot of sub and a lot of dub, and I enjoy both. If you are someone who wants me to watch sub because you genuinely want me to be able to experience certain performances in the anime, do not fret. I watch basically every show that I like, I will watch many times, and when I watch it many times, I watch it in both subbed and dub. So if I watch an entire series in dub, once I'm rewatching it, I will watch it in subbed. And I do that with so many shows that I have watched so many shows in both versions. So don't fear that I'm going to miss out on those, because it'll actually be good to get that experience on a second viewing and make my second viewing that much more impressive. And also, I think people underestimate how much they are influenced by their own first watching of something. So don't don't stress. I guarantee you I'm going to get a good experience out of this show no matter what. So I also will be trying to, I think Netflix has subtitles for the dub that will make it a little bit easier for some people to follow. I know for some dubs people have trouble following because they can't quite hear it properly with the way I do videos. I think Netflix has subtitles for this show, so I'm going to try to have the subtitles on screen if I can, if it works properly. So hopefully that will help out those people who have trouble with that. Anyway, I think it's time to get into this show. I'm a little nervous, but very excited. There are 37 episodes of the show, I believe, so it's a pretty, you know, it's a decent length for a show overall. And I'm going to get into it. If there are things that I know as I'm watching it that I'm like, oh yeah, I also knew this, then maybe I'll mention it at the time. But please, again, make sure to give the video some love if you enjoyed it. So, without further ado, without too much more ado, I think we're going to get into episode 1 of Death Note. Here we go. Whoa, we're starting with the intro right away. Okay. I think I should also note that I've read Bakuman, which is from the writers of Death Note. I just haven't seen Death Note, so I've seen a lot of references to it in Bakuman. Man, this art style, it's very iconic, a very iconic art style. Oh my gosh, it's so serious though. Honestly, it's very jarring to go from nothing to having the intro already. Like, I can't even take this in. Okay, here we go.
Can you please translate the following sentence into English?
He's speaking English.
Kanagawa police are treating this case as homicide.
In other words, today's suspected murderer Naoki
Man, pretty bleak.
of Shibuya.
This world is rotten.
Okay. They have a similar mindset.
Species are now becoming extinct at a faster rate than has ever occurred in our recorded history.
It's just falling? Is this how he finds it? It just falls from the sky? Huh. I thought it would have been something different than that, just falling in the middle of the yard.
The human whose name is written in this notebook shall die. That's pretty lame. Not to mention twisted. It's really
You're
not
just
that
gonna
different
put
from
it
one of
back
those
on the
chain emails you
ground?
get. Come on.
It is actually very similar to like emails. Oh! Okay, jump scare me a little bit.
There must be something wrong with me to even consider it.
Oh, he grabbed it. Ah, okay.
Unless the writer has the person's face in their mind when writing his or her name.
Huh.
Therefore, people sharing the same name will not be affected.
Ah, that makes sense.
If the cause
So you
of
have to
death
know
is
their
written within
face.
40 seconds of writing the... This is pretty detailed for a prank, I'll give them
That is disturbing as hell. I already have some questions, but they might be
So I
answered
write
within
a
the show.
name in that person.
Man, what if you just to test it out, you wrote like a close family member? Oh my god.
On the off chance someone really dies, would that make me a murderer?
Yeah.
The police have now identified the suspect as 42-year-old Kuro Otahara,
Okay.
currently unemployed. We
You
expect
can
negotiations to begin.
Test it out on a garbage human being.
We'll see.
At the present time, this is all the police are telling us.
Hope for a quick resolution to this situation.
Looks like the notebook doesn't work. Oh well, I didn't expect it
Well,
to.
there's also a delay on the news.
Wait, we're seeing something here.
Okay, we now have confirmation. The suspect has been found dead inside. The suspect is now dead.
Dead?
The special forces are denying allegations.
It
of
worked.
shot the suspect.
So it's quite possible he was feeling...
Wow, this newscast is super
According to
updated.
statements from the hostages, the suspect just suddenly collapsed.
Statements from the hostages? It's been like 25 seconds.
It's already 6:30, you know. Don't you have cram school tonight?
Yeah, I'll be ready in just a sec.
He writes in the notebook, cram school.
Hey, real buddy.
What is it, Sudo?
Didn't you want to lend me $20?
What? Again? But I can't do
Are you just gonna use it on a
Maybe I
bully?
should try killing him.
Jesus!
I mean, would anyone really care if a guy like him was to disappear?
Oh my
one day?
gosh, Light is already kind of screwed up. I know he will get screwed up, but I didn't know he started like this.
Damn it, why is my mom so useless? Here to pick me up on
Calm down, dude.
Start looking around.
Damn it! Why is my mom so useless?
That's our taco for you. This guy can spot a hottie a mile away. What's up, little lady? The name's Taco.
Oh no, this guy's giving away his name.
Come hang out with us, pretty lady. Dip it down right here. Are you sure?
What? Oh my god. Accidental death.
What will happen?
Is he gonna get hit by a car? Oh, yep.
Now then.
Now, how do you come into this? Okay. Cool so far. How does Ryoka come into this? What's his role in this show?
Hate to tell you, but our whole world looks like this. That's true, but I've dropped my death note.
Oh, it's his. Okay. He's going down to retrieve it? He seems so, like, uncaring, though. That maybe he did it on purpose.
Hi, Mom. It's because...
I was killing people.
Oh. No, I'm fine, Mom. Thanks, though.
Well, he's got a
I've already got
loving support system, I guess. Ooh. Wait, did you write all those names in there already? What? Oh my god, dude.
You've taken quite a liking to it. You've already figured out that what you have is no ordinary notebook.
Yeah, well, you wrote instructions in the front.
I've been waiting for you.
What?
Oh?
And now that I've witnessed the proof of its power, I only feel more confident in what I'm gonna do.
What the heck?
Interesting.
This is episode 1, man.
This, but you're the first to have written this many names.
Yeah.
Look at how many people you've killed in only 5 days.
Jesus.
Most are reluctant to write this much. I'm not gonna do anything to you.
Uh-huh.
The notebook becomes part of the human realm from the very moment it touches the earth. In other words, the notebook is now yours.
So why are you here?
This is mine?
But if you give it away, I'd have no choice but to erase your memories of the notebook.
Oh.
Be warned, any human who's used a death note can neither go to heaven nor hell for eternity.
Whoa.
That's all.
So in a way you have doomed your soul.
It'll be all right. Answer it.
She can't see him. He's invisible.
What is it?
That's a huge bite. That's a massive
I
bite.
just have one more question I want to ask you. Why was I chosen for this?
You probably weren't,
are you even
right?
listening?
Wasn't it just dropped onto the floor?
I didn't choose you. Don't you see this is all just an accident?
Yeah. It fell
You
from the
actually
sky.
thought you were chosen because you're so smart or something? That's why I wrote the instructions in English, the most popular language in the human world.
Huh.
Then why did you drop
They
it in
actually
the first
explained
place?
that.
I did it because I was bored.
Okay. I kind of anticipated that would be maybe why.
Most of the time, we're either taking naps or gambling.
It did look very
Take the time to
boring.
write names in your death note. The others just laugh at you for working so hard.
I want the world to know of my existence. That there's someone out there passing righteous judgment on the wicked.
Right.
Why even bother?
I've been bored too.
Wow, they're made for each other.
Besides, who am I to pass judgment on others?
Okay, so we did go through a little bit of this. Going through this in his mind.
Wait. Maybe someone has to do it, so why not me? Even if it means
Wow.
sacrificing my own
Wow,
mind
it did
and
not
soul,
take him
it's
long
worth
to
it.
be
Because the world
to be dragged down.
can't go on like this. If I don't do it, then who will? That's just it. There's no one. But I can do it. In fact,
Wow.
I'm the only one who can.
What a complex. Woo!
Using the Death Note, I'll change the world.
Man, this is episode 1, dude. I thought it would be like one name per one episode, maybe. He's just doing it as quickly as he possibly can. Oh my god, these camera angles.
But if you did that, it would make you the only bad person left.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm a hard-working honor student who's considered to be one of Japan's best and brightest.
Wow, he genuinely thinks
And I
he's worthy of his own judgment.
will become the god of this new world.
Oh my god. Oh my light.
Its humans are so interesting.
Most of us aren't. It's this dude that's interesting. That flew by. Oh, let me watch the credits, Netflix. Oh, this is a cool shot. The rest of the ED's been pretty unimpressive, but this... that, like, panning thing? Yeah, okay, wow. So, I knew that this show would be, like, messed up. I knew that Light isn't, like, a good guy, right? I know that he's a bit of a, you know, weird creep. But I thought that was gonna be like episode 15. That like that's when I thought it was going to be a slow descent into madness. You know, that just like in my mind, that's what seems to make the most sense. Is he like, oh, he starts off just like writing a name because he has, like, or he writes a name to test it, and then he writes a name to save someone, and then he writes a name because he has to, and then he writes a name to cover that up, and then he writes a name to do this, right? No, this guy tested it once, was like, okay, that worked, and then tested it again just to make sure that it was definitely not an accident, and then after that he was like, okay, guess I'll kill everyone. Like, I'll just like kill all the major criminals that I can think of just as fast as he possibly could. And I mean, it makes sense in a way, but yeah, like crazy descent already into madness. And I mean, like, it's funny that he doesn't even get a voice of reason appear at his door. Like, he gets Ryo, who is clearly absolutely not a voice of reason. He's just like, well, I'm bored. I'm gonna come down to Earth and see what's going on. And then he finds Light doing all this stuff where he's just like, I'm just gonna kill everyone and become I'm gonna kill everyone that I think is bad, and I'm gonna become a god. And then he's like, oh, great, cool, I'll follow you in that endeavor. So it's very interesting. I mean, it's a pretty bold, like, choice for a show, because it's one where we, like, don't exactly feel comfortable rooting for Light, because he's so clearly like a maniac. It's insane. So I have questions about how the Death Note works, but I want to preface this by saying, please do not answer these questions in the comments. My questions are all rhetorical. They're me thinking out loud on how I expect the thing to work throughout the show. Regardless of whether or not they answer this within the show, don't tell me. If they answer it, I don't want to know because the show's going to tell me eventually. If they don't answer it, I don't want to know because I want the anticipation of not knowing if the show is going to tell me or not. So please don't answer these questions in the comments. However, my question is, you can write a cause of death, right? And so far, they haven't gone into it that much because he's only mentioned accidental death and disease as the things he's written. So accidental death is like hit by a truck, whatever. And disease is, you know, get sick. It's basically a heart attack. And then there's heart attack. So those are the three causes of death that we've seen so far. But, like, it seems like when he wrote accidental death, it's like the world sort of changed to make sure that he died. I thought a car was going to swerve off the road and hit him, but instead the girl struggled out and she ran across the road, and then he just recklessly went across the road. It's almost like it changed his decision. The Death Note changed his decision, which is interesting because he's changing fate, like, completely, it seems like. But even getting rid of that, how specific can you get with the cause of death? And can you use it then to get other gains? Because when I think about Death Note, right, I think this is a power I don't want. I don't want this power. I first of all don't want to be the person who decides if people die or not. And even if I did, it's a pretty lame power to have. You know, you can't do much fun with that. It's a pretty bleak power to have. But the thing I find interesting is if you said, for example, let's say, you know, his mother, I don't know her name, but let's say her name is Karen, you know, Gibson. So if he wrote Karen Gibson, and then in the cause of death he wrote crushed by millions of dollars, right? Then something would happen so that millions of dollars would crash down onto her, right? And then he could have millions of dollars and like at the cost of, you know, her dying. So he could like meet a random person and then have them die in a way that gives him something, possibly. That like I don't know how specific you can get, and like if it will be like a monkey's paw situation where like, okay, it was millions of dollars, but it was millions of dollars of your own money, and it's like money that, and like immediately it burns, or like, you know, something along those lines. Like I don't know how vindictive the Death Note is towards its user, and how much it tries to make it not get whatever it is. I will tell you something else I know about the show that we haven't come across yet. I know about L, and I know that L sits like this. You can't really see my legs, but my legs are up here. And you know how I know that? Because I have been called L my entire bloody life, because I sit like this on chairs very often. Like a lot. I think you might see sometimes in my videos, like you'll see my knees like coming up into the thing sometimes. I sit like this all the time, where you can like sort of sit on your, like it's something that some people actually can't do properly. And it's very common in Asian countries. I come from an Asian family. I wasn't born in Asia or anything myself. My dad was. And so I do come from an Asian family, and I don't know if I was passed down any genes that allowed me to sit like this, but I can sit like that pretty comfortably. But yeah, that's the thing I know. I know that there's a character called L. I'm pretty sure he's like a detective or something that is trying to find out who did this, and that he sits like this. That's all I know about him. But anyway, this was a good first episode. I mean, look, to be honest, when I'm looking at anime, when I'm like looking for anime to watch, my mind automatically like cuts off older anime and just takes it off the table, because I'm not a huge fan of older animation style and music style and stuff. Like I just don't like it very much. I way prefer modern anime to the older anime. It's just a personal preference of mine. So for a show to make me go back and watch it is pretty impressive. And so even though Death Note had, you know, like I'm not a fan of this style of OP. I didn't mind the OP, but I'm not a fan of the style. I'm not a huge fan of the art style generally. And like, you know, the way of like audio mixing, like the music and stuff that is used, not a massive fan of it. However, in this show, I actually don't mind it too much, because like I know Death Note so well without having ever seen it, that it feels like stylistically it matches so perfectly because I know what this is kind of. So it doesn't bother me in this show. But for reference, other shows that are like this, that aren't Death Note, I'm less likely to like, I think. But still, I mean, really good first episode, much faster paced than I expected. But I mean, that actually makes sense, because as I said during the video, I've read Bakuman, which is a series that, and not to be mistaken with Bakugan. Bakuman is a series, and it's the title is like Baku is like gambling or whatever, and Man is manga. It's a series they wrote after they wrote Death Note about writing manga and the struggles of writing manga, and it's about these two people who want to write manga together. And it's a great manga. I really recommend it. I read the entire thing and loved the entire thing. The thing I liked about Bakuman a lot was the story was constantly chugging along at a pretty high pace. And every chapter, like there would be something that's like, oh, they're doing this certain thing. And I would be like, okay, that'll take 15, 20 chapters. Nah, it's done within the chapter. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna run out of time, but they don't. They keep coming up with new stuff that's interesting and fun, and like the pace is really, really good, and they cram a lot into chapters without it feeling like they're cramming it, you know? I was always so impressed with Bakuman, and so it makes sense that Death Note in the first episode, they put what I expected there to be in 20 episodes of this show. So yeah, I am keen to continue this show. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode. Please make sure to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I would love to get your discussion points and just some support on the video if you enjoyed it. But thank you very much for joining me for this video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.